Welcome to Hypr Community. Hypr Community is a social learning network. It brings together the power and convenience of social media and superimposes it onto a learning management system. For most of you, it will be easy to recognize how similar the community's features are to your favorite social media sites. Except, we have dedicated this website to facilitate learning in a comfortable and familiar setting. Standard features of Hypr Community include posting to your timeline, private messaging, following other users, and connecting. Users will be able to create private and public groups and forums to join others that match their individual goals for connectivity and learning. We are excited to be partnering with faculties, consultants, residents, doctors, and other professionals to bring you groups and live topical forums that provide rich content that are moderated by the best in each field, providing second-to-none information for your benefit. Hypr Community will foster networking that will bring together faculties, local students, regional students, and professionals onto a platform dedicated solely to your success. Best of all, it is free for all students. Go now to www.hyprcommunity.com and sign up today. Hypr Community. Learn, grow together. Hypr Community is brought to you by Hypr Academics Jamaica Limited.
Welcome everyone to this year 2 semester 1 wrap session with Hypr Academics Jamaica Limited. We're so excited to have you guys here. We know it's very late. It's actually 6:03 p.m. here in Jamaica. We know you guys have school tomorrow, and we really just want to keep this session as short as possible. Now, we really saw the need to have a session like this, given that this is the first time that you're going to be doing courses like this. I mean, the guys did respiratory system last semester. This is an answer to a 3-credit course, but now we're dealing with some heavy stuff. And I think it would be very unfair, separate and apart from even Hypr Academics, but as a senior medical student, to have you guys enter into this semester with a 6-credit cardio course, 6-credit digestive course, end on health and environment, and just let you guys just run free and drop into problems. So again, I'm so excited to have you guys here. We're not going to be spending over an hour with you guys. So with me is actually Managing Director Devon Malcolm Brewster, and we also have the 2 other tutors who will be assisting me with this session, Anya as well as Ashley. For you guys, I'm pretty sure most of you guys know me. I'm Xavier Brown. I'm a 4th-year medical student as well as a senior tutor and director here at Hypr Academics. And while it is that some more of you guys actually join, I want you guys to tell me how exactly are you feeling about this semester so far? It's not like first year at all, where it is that, you know, within the first week, you're just doing some introductory stuff, they bring out a skull and whatever. How was your first week of school? I'm actually monitoring the chat. Guys, please interact with me. I want to know what's going on. So it's not what you expected. It's not what you expected. Why is that? You're 3 weeks behind and you've only done one week of school. How is that possible? Anyone outside of Michaela, guys, come talk to me. Don't be shy, you guys know your classmates, you guys know how I am. You already feel like you're behind, and that's exactly why it is that we want to be having this session, right? So it is rough. Sir, you're in 5th year, right? So many persons seem as if they're anxious because they're actually behind. Your head full of information. I'm going to help you with that, and it's a lot of information, exactly, right? So we really need to get on top of these courses. You realize how essential these courses are to the rest of your medical career. Trust me, you will always be going back to these lectures. So I'm glad that you guys are actually here. So what I'm going to provide for you guys right now is an outline of the program. So we're going to actually begin with a short message from the managing director. As I said, that's Devon Malcolm Brewster, fifth-year medical student at the University of the West Indies locally here at Mona. And then we're going to get into the meat of the matter, which is how to approach all of these courses, these 4 courses that you have this semester. We're going to break down each one. We're going to give you some golden nuggets as to how to actually shell these courses. We're then going to have some word from the students, some of the current third year students, as to how it is that they were able to maneuver this semester. We'll then introduce you to the Hypr formula for this semester, and then towards the end, we'll then start taking questions and then answering whatever concerns you guys have. So Devon.
Hi everyone, good evening. As you all know, I am Devon Malcolm Brewster, Managing Director here at Hypr Academics Jamaica Limited, and also a final year medical student at the University of the West Indies Mona campus. It gives me great pleasure, guys, to welcome you to this, our wrap session for this semester. It is a tradition, a fairly recent tradition of Hypr Academics, always to have a wrap session at the beginning of the semester where we can share with you what to expect from your courses from the perspective of us as students, or in some cases past students who would have been exactly where you are right now, and also from the perspective of how it is Hypr Academics. We have positioned ourselves strategically to be of assistance to you, to guide you, to help you, to walk with you along the journey. I am very happy for this opportunity to interact with you in this way. It's the first time that we're doing this rap session on YouTube with all this fancy technology, making it look all nice and dandy. And that one of the reasons is that we want you to know that at Hypr Academics we invest a lot in what we do, and what we do is help you. Therefore, we invest a lot in you. Our primary objective is to see an improvement in learning outcomes across the program, across the years, and we are doing our best. We have even begun engaging the faculty already for the academic year, and we look forward to partnering with the faculty in seeing ways that we can embrace technology to get you on par with your counterparts around the world who are using technology and so forth to advance medical education. So as we go throughout this session, I just want to invite you to make note of your questions, ask your questions in the comment section. They will not be answered right away, but they will be reserved for the question and answer segment at the end of the session. But I want you to internalize everything that is being said. You're going to hear from our tutors as they speak of their own experience with the courses, and also their own nuggets of wisdom. But you'll also hear from 2 students who will share with us, not affiliated with Hypr, share with us their own experience with first semester of second year. And then we're gonna, as Xavier alluded to, we're gonna wrap up by presenting to you the Hypr formula. But the thing about it is that you guys, many of you have been students, or you've been around, and you know the Hypr formula. So all we're going to do is remind you of the Hypr formula, and of course tell you what you really want to know. The most important thing you want to know is how much it will cost me, right? But you know, Hypr Academics never broke your pocket yet, and we never will. So with that said, I'm going to use the cliche phrase of sit back and relax and enjoy what Hypr Academics has in store for you.
Hey guys, I always forget to unmute my mic. But what we're going to begin with now is actually the breakdown for each course. So we're going to actually tackle this in alphabetical order. So we're going to start with cardio. We're then going to get into digestive, endo, and then health and the environment. So I'm actually going to begin with Anya to tell us about her experience with the cardiovascular system course.
Hi guys. So my name is Anya Robertson. I will be one of your tutors for cardiovascular system for this year. And my experience with cardio, personally, how you can say this now? I was actually very comfortable with cardiovascular, and let me tell you why. You guys already know from CAPE or whichever sixth form exam that you guys did. You guys went through a lot of electrical conductivity of the heart, like, your SA nodes, your AV nodes, like some basic things you guys know already, right? Of the heart, like bundle branches and where it goes and all of that, right, guys? Guys? Anybody knows? Just basic principles of electrical conductivities of the heart, right? Yeah, exactly. So with that basic knowledge alone, I don't want to say that it was, the whole course is easy, but having some basic knowledge of it from high school really helped me, especially in cardio physio. However, there's still more extraness stuff to it because, we're in big med school now, right? So really and truly, cardio, I would say it's a course to not take lightly. Why? Because you might know like basic principles of it and all of that, but when you start to tie on when you start to tie in the physio with the pathology of the heart and all of that combined together, you're going to see how much sense it starts to make, right? My advice of how I learned cardio personally was that I started off with the embryology of it. The embryology really helped me because it helps us to understand the physio mostly and the pathology, because you will always have some pathologies in the embryonic stage of all of that, right? So Xavier, stop please. So it's a course that I really do think you guys would like, and I would try to do my best. Ashley Gore and I, that will be your other tutor for it, we will try our very best to help you guys to feel comfortable in it, because it is really a beautiful course, and I feel like it's something you guys would really love out of the courses that you guys are going to do this semester. It's something that you guys would, I will get up and do a cardiovascular question like right now. It's really that good. And you guys teacher Dr. Thaxter Nesbeth, yes, she is going to make cardio be very beautiful for you guys. So I'm really excited. I'm not sure if you guys have any classes with her as yet, but I would say, listen to her. Make sure you go to all of her tutorials. I mean, of course, Hypr got you also, but trust me, cardiovascular system itself is going to be a very beautiful course for you guys. So stay tuned for that. We'll got you. So yeah, exactly. She is the best. Trust me, she is. Just make sure so you guys attend her classes. You guys will be fine in cardio. I can tell you that. So yeah.
And thank you so much. I want to just add on to that, Anya, and you can tell me if you agree. Dr. Nesmith, oh, she is wonderful. She's the best. She's lovely. She makes cardiovascular system really fun, particularly cardiovascular physiology. And from my experience, one of the things that's often happens is that because we end up feeling so happy about the fact that we have a nice lecturer who is clear, crisp, and giving us all these tips for exams, we tend to fall into the trap of putting cardiovascular system on the back burner, right? And then we figure that, well, Dr. Nesbeth got us. We can look back at her lectures and everything, but remember, Dr. Nesbeth, she focuses mostly on cardiovascular physiology. But there's a whole other part of cardiovascular system, which is cardiovascular pathology. And that is where a lot of people end up getting hooked, or juke rather, because they end up neglecting cardio because, you know, it's nice and dandy and sweet and easy. But when the pathology comes towards the end of the semester, or the latter part in the semester, that's really where they get catch. So we want to ensure that you know that you should not fall into that trap. And that is why we are here for you at Hypr Academics. We have so much resources for you that you can that you can utilize. Yes. Oh my God, you guys, Anya cannot take a compliment. So officially, now we are going to ban compliments from Anya. Anya cannot take compliments. But yes, definitely. So thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to input that there because I think it was very, very important for the students.
Yeah, man. And it's like as I said earlier on, I made the mistake of getting comfortable with cardio because you know, you already know basic principles of it from high school. So when I was carrying it into med now, I was like, yeah, man, I'm good, you know? But really and truly, as Devon said, do not underestimate it. Do not get too comfortable with it. Yes, we might know how the heart pump and whatever, but trust me, guys, there's more to it. Do not get comfortable. But you guys will be fine though.
Hey guys, so well, before we go over to digestive Devon, we want Ashley to discuss a bit of cardio. I'm going to apologize ahead of Ashley. She has a bit of technical difficulties, so you won't be seeing her, which might be for the better or the worse. But here's Ashley.
Xavier. Hey guys, so as Xavier said, I am Ashley Gore and I am a third-year medical student. Now, most of you guys probably familiar with me and Anya, as we were there with you for, it was Neuro 1, right? And I also tutor for UWI, so most of you guys do know me from first year as well. So I just want to welcome you guys and let's talk all things cardio. Now, Anya pretty much, she summarized it beautiful. Cardio, you guys will like cardio. And as Devon mentioned earlier as well, Dr. Nesbitt, she is so enthusiastic. I loved her passion. And so you guys should definitely make sure you go to her classes, make sure that you're taking all your notes and just, you know, sorry guys. Okay. So now for Hypr Academics, how we'll be approaching cardio for this semester is we'll be talking about the electrical activity of the heart. Then we'll be talking about ECG as well as the cardiac cycle. And guys, I also remember this poem. I'm not sure if you guys have touched it as yet. For Anya, you remember it? The little heart block poem?
Yeah, that longer job. Don't ever went to
Listen,
back.
guys,
Whatever.
no. You see, Dr. Nesbitt, she have that poem like playing in my head even during the exam, you know. So it goes like this: if R is far from P, then you have a first degree. Longer drop, then you have Wenke back. If some P's don't get through, then you have Mobits too. If P's and Q's don't agree, then you have a third degree. Listen, Dr. Nesbitt is the best and she will help you guys, trust me. But as Devon also said, I don't want you guys to just focus mainly on the physio. You guys should be paying attention to the pathology. So during our tutorials weekly, we'll be talking a bit about, you know, rheumatic heart disease and infective endocarditis. We'll be touching a bit of cardiomyopathy, and you guys just make sure you come out to the tutorial sessions each week. We will be consistent this year, and you know, Hypr helped me a lot in year 2. You know, they made sure that I got my A, and so I want to help you guys as well to get your A's and your A+s because you guys are stars. So I will see you guys soon.
Right. Thank you very much for that, Ashley. Devon, now we're going to move on to digestive system. Now, digestive system is my bread and butter, right? And Annie and Ashley can most definitely tell you that. Now, the bigger issue with digestive system is how it is that students approach it. Now, the way in which the faculty approaches it isn't particularly conducive for student learning. Meaning that it's not that you can't learn that way, but when it is that the faculty provides you with a timetable, when they provide you with a schedule, it doesn't mean that you particularly have to abide by that. And it's the same way in which they would have approached respiratory system. They're going to teach information in blocks to the anatomy of it. They're going to then introduce it to the histology, physiology, pathology in those separate blocks. There's no interlinking between any of these blocks until you go into the exam and you now need to be applying this information. And this is the first time you might start getting case scenarios to answer in an exam, and you need to know, be able to piece together. Now, digestive system is a 6-credit course for a reason. It is a whole lot. It is no joke. It is literally no joke. People actually do poorly in this course. We're talking about failing this course because they've underestimated the course, or just not performing as best as they could have. Now, the way in which I approach digestive system is that I didn't particularly take the timetable as structured as it was. So let us say that we're doing the anatomy of the esophagus this week. My first goal is to become essentially, and as weird as it sounds, an esophagus specialist, right? So I would first of all go ahead and I want to learn the anatomy of the esophagus. I still to this day, as to how structured it, like everything is in my head, still remember it's 25 centimeters long, still remember that it has 3 parts. I still remember all of that because of how structured my approach to each of these things was. I then looked at the histology. So I then jumped into Prof. Lou's slides to now pick up, okay, what lines this thing? What are the different things that the different cells in the structure? What's the muscular layer like? Which portion of it is smooth? Which portion of it is skeletal? So I now have a good understanding of the anatomy and the histology of the esophagus. So what's the next best thing? I then go and learn about the physiology of swallowing, right? So that's where it is that now Dr. Young Martin, or Professor Young Martin, I'm not sure if it has changed, comes in, right? So I now have the physiology, and then I want to get into the pathology. So I now know about dysphagia, I now know about achalasia, I know about esophageal adenocarcinoma and squamous cell carcinoma, and all of those things, esophageal webs. So what you create in your head and what you've blocked out within your brain is the esophagus, right? And because you're constantly, it's not as if you're jumping from pharynx, then jump into esophagus, then jump into stomach, and you learn the anatomy, and then you go and learn this whole bunch of physiology and a whole bunch of pathology. It's not going to work like that unless you're structured in some different way. So you have to come up with ways to actually put all this information together, right? So that's what I would say would be the best approach to the digestive system. Of course, remember, you do have ChemPath slides to be familiar with. You integrate that where necessary. So for example, if you have chemical pathology of the stomach and you learn about gastrin and all of that, you go and study that. You learn about the microbiology like Helicobacter pylori, you go and you study that. So you create a complete system, and you definitely would show the exam with all that knowledge. So Anya?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with everything what Xavier said. Digestive has to be a subject where you have to try and make everything relate to make it make more sense. You get what I mean? So for example, with digestive physio, digestive path, even the histology, because you know that different epitheliums, you know, they have a specific function of where it is situated in the whole digestive system. Like it's there for a reason. You're like, okay, well, I know so this type of epithelium does that type of function for that type of specific place for the digestive system. So I was like, okay, I know that physiology for that because the histology is like that. So what are some pathologies that can come with it, right? So I would say for digestive, you really have to, well, I would suggest that you have to interlink, try and make sense of everything, whether from its physio to pathology to embryo to histo. Every one of the information that you guys get from digestive is significant in other areas, and it will make sense to you once you guys practice over time. Digestive is a course where you have to constantly be practicing, constantly be, making sense of the material that you get. You can't just sit down on it, right? So, and I mean, what we provide for you with Hyper is really active learning. So, discussions, you can even do role plays, you can even, make sure you guys have a sort of what you can call this now, like a study group or just a little discussion kind of for digestive, I would suggest, because it is a type of course where it's very, I don't want to say repetitive is the word, but the more you do, you need to connect the dots for it to flow, because the more you go into it and know how everything works, is going to literally like paint the bigger picture for you. So that's my 2 cents on that. Xavier said enough already, so yeah.
Right, guys. So me and Ashley will actually discuss the endocrine system. Now, I don't want you guys to make the same mistake I made with endocrine system. No, this is a semester that is very easy to burn out. You have endocrine is normally one of the later exams that you do. I'm not sure if it's the last long paper that you'll do. And I remember going to my cardiac exam confident, go to my digestive exam confident, go to my health and environment, never really reasons about that. You should care about it though. And then going into my endo exam, and you're tired when you're in an exam and you want to, like, you have to take a nap. Like, it was that bad. Like, adrenaline couldn't keep me awake in that exam. So it's very important, as an aside, to always balance your time and always find time for rest, because you can't do these exams on very little rest. I tried to do it, and I couldn't do it. I was extremely tired. They still did well nonetheless, right? Because but anyways, so endocrine should be tackled. The way in which I would really suggest for you guys to tackle endocrine is based on the glands. So similar to how it is that with digestive, you have different organs, different structures. You want to tackle endo based on the glands. So you have the hypothalamus, you have the pituitary gland, you have the thyroid, parathyroid, suprarenals, the pancreas. So I'm sorry for that noise. But that's the way in which you should tackle it. In the same way in which you have anatomy, in which you have histology, in which you have the pathology, that's the way you should tackle it. So, Ashley?
Okay, so for endocrine, now as Xavier said, they started this course pretty late in the semester. I remember we started around, I think it was October, and at one point I was saying, how am I going to do this? Like, are we going to cover every single thing in time for the exam? So I was a bit worried. However, as Xavier stated, right, you need to tackle it with a structure. You need to have a structure in mind so you can know exactly how you're going to do this, because it can become pretty confusing, because you'll be talking about the thyroid, right? And then this week you'll learn, okay, let's say it's Monday, right? They're going to tell you guys about the thyroid physiology, right? And then the next day they're going to talk about parathyroid physiology. And you're going to be like, oh, this makes so much sense. I really understand it. Then the next week, they're going to tell you about thyroid pathology, right? And then 2 days after, they tell you about parathyroid pathology. And then you start to feel a bit confused. Like, wait, am I remembering the thyroid physiology or is it for the parathyroid? You know, you don't want to confuse it because you'll be doing different glands and you'll be doing different areas of each gland different days, right? During classes. So how I approached it and how I'm going to encourage you guys as well to approach it is to do it based on the different glands, right? So let's say we're looking at thyroid. You guys want to do everything thyroid, right? So this day you're going to focus on the physiology of the thyroid. Make sure you understand exactly the mechanism in which it's working, right? Now after you understand that, you guys are going to skip a page and then you go through the pathology. You guys just want to structure it in a way that your notes it's organized, right? Because if your notes is all over the place, it's going to be a bit confusing, especially because you guys will be starting this late in the semester. You don't want to feel flustered and have everything all over the place because, you know, I remember after learning about thyroid physiology and closer to the exam, I found myself confusing thyroid with parathyroid. So don't worry about it. Hypr, we got you. Later on in this session, we'll be talking more about Hypr plans. However, for endocrine, I'm not sure if Xavier wanted to mention anything more about it, but we'll be looking at the different glands. As he said before, it is good to be able to relate exactly what you're doing with what is being taught, right? So if they're going to talk about the hypothalamus, right? You guys want to have a mental picture of exactly what it is that they're discussing. They're going to be telling you guys about the different nuclei, right? And you guys don't want to confuse the nuclei. So personally, I got paper. I'm a visual learner, right? So I watched my videos and I made drawings, right? Because if you can have a mental picture of what the teacher is talking about and just connect the dots, as Xavier said before, that is very important and it will carry you throughout this semester. Year 2, semester 1, overall, guys, don't worry about it. I want you guys to approach it with confidence. It can seem like a lot, as Xavier said, with the credits, and these are big guys, there's big guns. You guys tackling big sub courses now, right? Don't worry about it. I want you to approach it with confidence, right? Make your notes. Make sure that you're going to all the lectures. Or if you're a person who you might be busy because let's be honest, we have things to do. Most people have work or other little things, but you guys want to prioritize and like set a little time to go over the lectures and make your notes. If you find watching videos or going to, tutorial sessions, wink wink hyper, you guys should just find that structure and stick to it. Find yourself going over your notes and yeah. Xavier, you wanted to add anything about endocrine?
Yeah, right. So just one final thing in like 1 minute. So the key thing I want you guys to take away is that you shouldn't be swatting, right? You shouldn't be swatting. You should be trying to make connections. Because the very important thing that many persons fall off from with this semester is that when it is that they've either swatted, they don't really understand what's going on, and then they've progressed from year 2, they're now into year 3, and they're doing junior surgery, they're doing junior medicine, they're doing pediatrics, and they now have to be scrambling for these notes because they didn't really understand it. Trust me, getting a good grasp of these courses from very early is very important. I pretty much could do my junior surgery exam with the mere endo and digestive knowledge. So it's very important to understand these things, engage in active learning, and you will do excellently for the rest of med school once you get that practice in. Devon?
Oh,
Guys, my humble apologies. I had no idea that I was muted. So I'm just gonna say that again. I do apologize. So I was saying that I'm going to talk to you about health and environment, which is one of the courses that I'm sure even before you came to year 2, semester 1, you would have heard that health and environment. You don't really have to bother too much about it. It's easy. And I would perhaps not agree that you should not bother about it. But I would be honest and say that if it is that we were to rank these courses on a scale of which one is hardest, health and environment will definitely be the easiest, if you put it that way. However, it is still important because one of the things is that health and environment, I'm not too sure, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not too sure that there's any particular textbook that is recommended for you to utilize for health and environment. So that means health and environment still being a course that affects your GPA. It means that you have to take it serious. At bare minimum, you need to attend all of the lectures, right? And read the PowerPoints, because the questions for health and environment come straight from the PowerPoints, right? And I know sometimes it might feel kind of insignificant, like why I have to be learning about Riverton of all places in the world. But it is a course that is important. It is a course that gives you an appreciation of the practical side of public health. And so you must take it serious. Hypr is not offering a course in that per se. Well, we're not offering anything per se in that, again, because it's not a very difficult course. It's a course that once it is, you pay attention to the lectures, you read the lectures, you should definitely be fine. Hypr Academics does have Hypr papers for health and environment, I believe, and we will make that available to you, and we will talk about that later. Guys, just let me know that you heard all of this, please, because I saw where it was said I was muted, but I unmuted, and then I gave a whole rant. Well, not a rant, but just let me know that you actually heard that, or you are hearing me. Are you hearing me, guys? I feel bad. Okay, yes. I was told that you are hearing me. So that's a wrap in terms of health and environment. So what we're gonna do as we transition to the next part of our program is we're gonna hear from 2 students who did this obviously before you. We're gonna first hear from Miss it's actually not Brianna Bowden, because that was for year 1, technical difficulty. But we will play the voice note for the person who was supposed to be for this, which is Miss Rowan. No, it would be Miss Leslie Walcott, right? So just bear with me as I bring her up, and we hear what she has to say. Okay.
A good way to manage school is don't just study. Once in a while, go out with your friends for lunch, have fun. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Don't be like that. Also, have study groups. Something you fall short in, your friend could be very good in it, and they can help you and tutor you. Also, if you fail something in first year, don't feel too bad about it. It happens sometimes. You might feel disappointed in yourself, but it does happen, especially like how you're transitioning out of high school, where they're more teacher. In university now, they just tell you, oh, read this book. Don't feel too bad, but do better for the semesters to come, but don't beat yourself up.
All right, so for first year, basically, it's like you're going to be thrown into the deep end, but I promise you, it's not that bad. First year, you're going to have people helping you. You're going to have people like Hypr Academics. They will encourage you guys and tell you what you need to know. You have your med siblings. They're going to give you majority of like the information and the papers that you need. It's not that bad. I promise you, it's not. It's going to seem like a lot just coming from high school, but you can manage. If many other people years ahead of you have managed UWI, trust me, you can manage UWI.
Okay, guys. So as you could hear that the reason we decided to still play this voice note from Rowan Nelson is because even if she mentioned first year, she was addressing the first year students, it is still significant information for us to understand that, because some of us, even into our second year, we have not really broken up the ice. We haven't really broken up the ice, and we're still stuck in the first year mentality. We're still basically stuck in the post high school stage, and so it's important. But we're going to play one more voice note, and then we move on. And that voice note is going to be from Abigail Balai. Okay.
For me, my main issue when I was in first year was that, well, the first semester was that I didn't know which study strategy was best for me. So in high school, studying for CAPE and CSEC, whenever I'm studying, I just wrote down the things so that the information can stick. But because in med school now, it's a lot of content, and that wasn't really an effective method. So in first semester, I tried to do that, but as I said, it wasn't too effective. However, in second semester was a little bit better for me, because instead of waiting until a month or a few weeks before exam to actually start going through thoroughly and studying and writing whatever, I started from early. So even though I was writing, and I wasn't really writing every single thing that I was studying, I wrote the crucial stuff and the stuff that I know that I would remember. I didn't write those things whenever I'm studying. But yeah, I had to be reading more than, in the past, because for me, I didn't need to be constantly reading. So in second semester, I tried my best to ensure that I'm reading throughout the semester so that I don't get left behind.
So guys, you hear from Miss Abigail as she spoke of how her experience in her first semester really caused her to modify her behavior, her studying strategy to excel in the second semester. And the same thing would have to apply to you. Now you have an entire year of reference. You have a first semester of first year, second semester of first year, where you would have had that opportunity to experiment with different learning styles and so forth. So now is the time, guys, even as you start doing more system-based courses, you want to ensure that you make the best use of the information that you have from your first year experience about yourself. If it is that you're a visual learner, seek out these videos and watch these videos. If you're someone who have to write, then start writing from early, because writing takes a lot of time. And of course, here at Hypr Academics, we are definitely ready and willing to ensure that we can do what you need us to do, which is to help you, walk with you as you go along this journey. Okay, and so without further ado, we're basically going to go quickly into the Hypr formula. There's a 4-minute video that we would have planned to play. We played with the first year students, but we know that you are, for the most part, acquainted with the Hypr formula. But we're still going to play the video for those who are not, and then we're going to have a brief discussion on key things about the Hypr formula, including schedule. One of the important things that everybody wants to know is Hypr Academics is going to broke my pocket. Hypr Academics has never broke your pocket, and we never will broke your pocket. So we'll delve a little bit into pricing, and then we'll go into a question and answer segment. So if it is that you have any questions about any particular course, we want you to put it in the group, in the chat right now. Put it in the chat now, so that we can flag it and ensure that at the question and answer segment, we can answer that for you to the best of our ability. Hey guys, it's your boy Malcolm from Hypr Academics, again, here to proudly announce our plans for this academic year. First up, Hypr Academics will not be tutoring this year. What? Hold up, not so fast. It's not quite like that. The current pandemic has changed a lot of things, and our medical education was not spared. Therefore, as the dynamic face of the pandemic and the medical education changes, so too must we demonstrate our malleability and our ability to evolve to solve emerging needs. In pursuit of that, we have, over the last few months, spent a great deal of time consulting with medical professionals, faculty, companies in other jurisdictions, and most importantly, many of you students. These consultations have concluded that traditional tutoring cannot work. Well, at least not alone. With the newly introduced access to your online classes and recordings, it gives us at Hypr Academics more reason to encourage you to attend your lectures and watch recordings, as the University of the West Indies remains the #1 authority on content for your exams. Therefore, here is the formula that we have devised. We've developed the Hypr community, a learning platform like never seen before in these parts, bringing together the convenience and familiarity of social media and a powerful learning management system. This platform will see students networking with consultants, residents, other doctors, other professionals, and other students from across the region. Students will all have free access to groups and forums dedicated to various courses, all semester long. We have collaborated with a team of medical students and doctors to source and create academic content specific to the UWI syllabus, which we will deliver via our Hypr videos. We expect that these videos will bridge the gap that exists with other such offerings that do not hit the nail right on the head where the UWI syllabus and Caribbean epidemiological data are concerned. These videos will be synchronized with review quizzes, exam simulations, and textual information and reference materials to set you on the right track to success. As you do this, links will direct you to groups and forums where discussions will ensue on core topics, except that it will foster 24-hour access to clarification from members and not be limited to the boundaries of a 2-hour paid tutorial. Each week, we will facilitate 2 sessions. But wait, did I not say that we will not be tutoring this year? Well, as part of our renewed approach, these 2 sessions a week will cover high-yield content and topics or aspects of topics that you have issues with. Therefore, each week, students will have the opportunity to tell us exactly what they want to gain from these sessions. Isn't that amazing? Essentially, Hypr Academics is prepared to be that 24-hour, 7 days, 12 months companion on your academic journey. We will provide you with tips, academic counseling, follow up on your study progress, and help you maintain that focus as you grapple, like us, with the realities of the COVID-19 pandemic. We have established a medical podcast where we hope to connect, educate, entertain, and advocate. We encourage you to listen on all podcast platforms as well as on our website, as we have exciting things in store for you. We have no doubt that this year will be a rewarding one for you. And with us, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Join the Hypr community at www.hyprcommunity.com. Follow us on social media at Hypr Academics and let us help you succeed. After all, your success is our mission. I want to thank, myself. you just heard of the Hypr formula in a very comprehensive manner. And what I'm basically just going to do is pull out some of the salient points that are important for you to know and take home. First of all is the policy of Hypr Academics. Hypr Academics takes it very seriously that you must you must ensure that you attend your lectures. We want you to attend your lectures, whether it is you do it live or you do it asynchronously, because the University of the West Indies remains the #1 source of all information, because after all, they are the ones providing your exams, they are the ones supplying your degree, right? So we're not going to be like anybody else who tells you, oh, come to our tutorials or watch our videos and you'll be fine. No, you might be fine. But remember, say, Hypr academics is not writing your examinations. You need to go to your lectures to ensure that you understand what they expect you to know. And where Hypr academics comes in is that we supplement everything that the university, that your $4.3 million pay for. We supplement that by ensuring that the key concepts and content that you need to know are solidified in your mind, that you understand that you're not just swatting, but you understand the concepts, and not just for your end of semester exams, but remember, we are supplementing a program that is training you to become medical professionals. And so when you leave the corridors, the virtual corridors as it may be, of Hypr academics, you will be equipped with knowledge and recollection of knowledge that will guide you and help you all throughout your medical school career and beyond, okay? As you know, we have our Hypr videos where we have these pre-recorded lectures, etc., that allows you to asynchronously watch these videos anytime. If at 3 a.m. you want to watch the videos, you watch it then. If it's 3 p.m. you want to watch the videos, you watch them then. One of the good things about this semester as opposed to last semester is last semester we were creating these videos all throughout the semester, but this semester they are all ready. And what we have done is that we've package these videos into monthly videos that are sort of synchronized as best as possible with your actual school syllabus, your school timetable, your school schedule rather. Therefore, for example, you should be able to watch a video on ECG before your ECG lecture. So it can serve as one of your pre-reading or pre-watching tools. And that is one of the things that sets us apart at Hypr Academics from others. We have this content right there for you, but we're not going to leave it just there, because you might watch the videos, you might go to these lectures at school, and you may still not understand certain things. You might understand some things, you go home, you look for a YouTube video, you look for on Ambos, you look at some other resource, and it might still be unclear to you. And that is where the Hypr review sessions come in. We want we want you to come in now and tell us, yo, I've watched the ECG video, I've attended the ECG lecture, but I'm still confused. Anybody still confused after they go to a lecture? Let us know in the chat. Have you ever found yourself more confused after you leave the chat, not the chat, after you leave the class than when you entered? That happens often. And that's why Hypr Academics is there. Tell us exactly what you don't understand, and come to these Hypr review sessions. And when you come to these Hypr review sessions, we will ensure that you do not leave that session without understanding the concept. But one of the things that we promote at Hypr Academics is that you must start doing questions from early. Don't wait until 2 weeks before the exams to start doing questions. No, don't do that, because it's a lot of questions and it's a lot of and very little time. So what we do at these Hypr review sessions, from day one, we get you started on questions. And that is what the review session is. We want you to come to the review session armed, having watched the video or done some research. So when you come now, we can focus on the high-yield things, the things that you don't understand, and then also look at questions. And which takes us to the other aspect, the final aspect, or the penultimate aspect of the Hypr formula, which is our Hypr papers. You know what Hypr papers are, and we are not ashamed of what Hypr papers are. We are proud to be innovative, strategic young people in this company who have developed a product that has literally changed lives for the last 3 years, where we allow you to create a simulated examination environment and causes you to be able to assess your readiness for exam and enable you to learn the things that you never knew before, and enable you to understand where you are in your particular topics. One of the things that we've done this semester, as you would have known from last semester, is that we have categorized these questions into topics. So no longer do you have to do an entire paper, say you only studied 2 out of the 30 topics. You get the questions for those topics and you get them wonderful. But for the other 28, boy, it lick you for 6. And then you end up leaving the paper feeling depressed. You cannot be depressed about not being able to answer questions at the beginning of the semester. And that is why during the semester, we encourage you, do the Hypr papers according to topics. You read ECG, you watch the Hypr video, you went to your lecture, you did additional research in your textbook and online. Do the Hypr papers for ECG and solidify the knowledge. What you will realize is that for the things that you never understood, when you got them wrong, you will see the explanation as to why they're wrong. And you'll see the explanation as to why what was right was right. And as I told the first years, anytime you're embarrassed, anytime you get something wrong, it gets stored somewhere that is easy to recollect, right? I'm sure every one of you can refer to a time when somebody or something embarrassed you, and you even remember the shoes and the socks and the underwear you were wearing, because that's what being wrong and being embarrassed can do, right? Now, we don't want you to call yourself dunce bat. We don't want you to feel like you're inadequate. No. It's the beginning of the semester. Some things you will not know. But as I always say, the best place to get your answers wrong is in the privacy of your home when you're not being graded. The best place to get the answer wrong is in a Hypr review tutorial when we're going to the questions and you don't understand and you get it wrong, because we will ensure that you understand exactly what you need to know. And obviously, as you know, at the end of the semester, we have our crash courses where we bring everything together and focus at that time on ensuring that you're absolutely ready for the exam. But throughout the semester, we're not only focusing on the exam, we're also focusing on ensuring that you have a good understanding of the topic for life. So as I move to wrap up, what you will see on your screen is our schedule. One of the things we have done and we plan to do is that on a monthly basis, we're going to release the schedule for the entire month. And so we invite you to subscribe to the calendar. We will send the link again between tonight and tomorrow. When you subscribe to the calendar, you will not miss a beat. The calendar will automatically send you a reminder. It will send you a reminder a day before, so you know what is happening and what time it is happening, and you will know what is going on. So as you can see, on Saturday we have our first session, which is on cardiovascular system. It is on electrical conductivity of the heart, I believe. And of course, true to form, because we love you, it's going to be free. It's going to be free for you. As early as tomorrow, there will be some Hypr videos, including a Hypr video on electrical conductivity of the heart that will be there free of cost for you to pay attention to ruminate and make it marinate in your mind, so that you can come ready for your Hypr review session. And then you can see this Sunday, we have an ECG session, okay? So as you know, for usually our first 2 or so sessions are usually free, and that doesn't change. But yes, one of the things I want to mention about the scheduling is that, as you've heard, digestive doesn't start until sometime in October. Endocrine doesn't start sometime until late in the semester. So if it is that we follow the structure to the T, it means that you'll end up getting left behind, because what we believe is that you must start things as early as possible. So yes, you will see for the rest of the month, we will be only doing cardiovascular system, but we are going to make some videos for digestive and endocrine available from early. And even before you actually start, maybe a week or so before you started in class, we're going to start digestive system, we're going to start endocrine system, because when you walk into this virtual classroom, you have to walk in like a boss. We have to be confused as to who is the consultant, because you're going to be survived. And that's the goal that we have for you. And last but by no means least, I know I chat too much, I chat a lot, I love to chat, and you may be bored, right? But one of the things that we need to ensure that you know for sure is that how Hypr Academics intends to charge for our services. Now, you should know, Hypr Academics never broke nobody's pocket yet. because we are always reasonable, we are always sensitive to the economic reality that is around us, especially in the contents of this pandemic that has caused income loss for so many people, and nobody is more conscious of this reality than Hypr academics. I can see there are people even in this chat who have benefited from the benevolence of Hypr academics to either give them a payment holiday or give them a major discount or tell them, okay, you cannot afford the class, just walk in for free. That's okay, because I mean it when I say it, and I want to make sure you see my face when I say it. Hypr academics is more concerned about your academic performance and your progress and your ability to retain information for long term to become a good doctor than we are concerned about the money. Yes, it is a for-profit company, but we will be disappointed and sad if we take everybody money and nobody comes out a better person for that. But what we want, we'll be more than happy to ensure that we have impacted the lives of those who have walked through our virtual corridors, and that is our primary objective. So therefore, if it is you encounter any financial difficulty, I'm a message away. Xavier is a message away. Let us know. We will construct a plan just to help you, and because we don't want you to say, because of money, I missed the class of Hypr academics. No, we want you to come on board. So what you will see on the screen is something that it might look like it's complicated, but one of the things what we've done is that we've strategized. We have condensed things. You can take a picture and you can ask questions later. So the first thing I want to mention is that Hypr academics for the first time this semester is doing something different. We are allowing students to do a monthly subscription. So in the semester, we've divided it into 3 months. Therefore, if it is, for example, you're not sure if Hypr is for you, if it is you're not sure, you can always pay for 1 month. And we know, we do believe that we have what it takes to keep you because we know of the quality of our content, but everybody is different. And so it gives you the opportunity not to renew your subscription for another month, which of course will be sad and will be dejected. But if it is that you have a better way of studying, but we know that we'll put our all to ensure that we can retain you. Or you have the opportunity to pay for the entire semester, and obviously when you do so, you get a huge discount, right? So that's one of the things you have. We're going to a monthly system. And another thing is that we are transitioning into a US-based system. Now I know from the time you hear that, you're gonna get PTSD because UWI charging us in US, and UWI is causing our head to hurt. UWI is causing our pressure to go up because every time they charge in US, our tuition fees are going up. Well, hear what? That is not going to be the case with Hypr academics. I can give you this commitment that at any given time, the US dollar price for a class, a Hypr review, Hypr videos, Hypr papers, the conversion for the US rate is always going to be less than what we charge in Jamaica. And the reason for that is that we want to incentivize the payment of using US dollars because of our own internal financial structure and our new financial policy. But we do not believe that students should be disadvantaged and abused because a company or a unit or an organization wants to receive payments in US dollars for obvious reasons. So we have decided to incentivize payments in US dollars by ensuring that the US dollar price is always cheaper than the Jamaican dollar price. And you will see in a while that all of our prices are even already reasonable. So, and the last thing I'll show, because before I show up the screen again, is, as you know, on our website, we have a payment gateway that is secured by Sagicor Bank Jamaica Limited, which is one of the leading banks in Jamaica. Therefore, you can trust our system. We have other opportunities for payment, whether it is bank account, transfer, etc. All of that we will share with you in a brochure by the middle of the week. So, just to explain what you're seeing here is that we give you the opportunity to choose whether you want to take 1 course, 2 courses, or 3 courses. And we have put together packages, bundles, where you can take Hypr videos and Hypr review sessions alone. You may not feel like you need Hypr papers right now, or you can take Hypr videos and Hypr papers, Hypr review sessions, or Hypr papers, or you can take everything, right? And what happens is that the more you take on, is the more things are going to be cheaper for you. So for example, you can see if you took on all of Hypr videos, Hypr videos and Hypr review sessions and Hypr papers for one course, that's only going to cost you 25 US dollars. Imagine that, 25 US dollars and 50 cents for a full payment for the entire semester. But you might think that, okay, you know, I need a better option in terms of payment. You know, things are a little rough on my parents. It's easier for them to pay in bite-sized pieces. You can pay 25 a month for the same thing and get access to everything. Now, if we look at the all you need package, which is everything for example, 2 courses, you'd recognize that the cost per course goes down because it costs about $40 for everything for 2 courses, which is about an $11 discount from purchasing 1 course. And it only gets better. When you get down to having all 3 courses, that's $57, right? So that is a whole heap of other savings. And you'd recognize that when you pay for everything together, as you can see here, when you pay for everything together, as opposed to monthly, you have this discounts as high as 25%, right? But we are catering to those who might find it more manageable to pay the monthly rates. Now, don't get confused by all these tables. We're going to put everything nicely in a brochure for you by the middle of the week. Remember, for the first week, the things for Hypr academics are free of cost. So you don't have to be immediately concerned, except that from a budgeting perspective, you might want to ensure that you consult your parents, etc., to ensure that they are able. And again, remember, this is a payment structure that we have organized, but Hypr Academics is always sympathetic and empathetic to the realities of our economic realities in the context of the pandemic. And so if you have any challenges, always ensure that you reach out to us, because we will never tell you don't come to class because you don't have money. Also, guys, I've been talking for a hot minute, but I try to be as comprehensive as possible to ensure that you understand that Hypr Academics is your partner. Hypr Academics is your partner. Yeah, we are your partner, and we want to have you on board. We want to ensure that you are comfortable enough to come to us and to make us help you get that A. Okay, so with that said, guys, we will accept future questions. If it is you have a question, put it in the chat. We will try to answer it. But remember, we are a text away, we are a call away. You can always reach out to myself. You can always reach out to Xavier. You can always reach out to any of your other tutors who would be happy to answer your questions. And in the middle of the week, we're going to publish that brochure. So just before we go into the question and answer segment, if there are any questions, I think there was just like 1 or 2 questions. So we will end very soon. I just want to, well, we heard what Hypr plans for cardiovascular system, but we want to hear if there's anything further for digestive and for endocrine. Okay, so we're going to invite Xavier Brown and Anya to tell us of what they plan for digestive, and then we'll hear from endocrine, and then we'll take your questions, and then we'll wrap up for the evening. Xavier?
Right, hello again, guys. So the structure we're going to be taking for this one that I would have used last year, and I mean, Anya and Ashley are really testaments for how well my plan had worked last year. So I broke it down. So once it is that we've covered cardiovascular, it should be tutored by me, Ashley, and Anya. But primarily Ashley and Anya, but I will come and help in where necessary. And we'll start some digestive. And we're going to break it down based on the physiology of the particular organ with the pathology. I'm going to end, well, I recorded most of those Hypr videos. So I'm going to ensure that you guys watch those videos. Trust me, those videos are golden. When I created them, I even rewatched the same lectures that you're going to be having. I looked in my own notes. I applied some of my clinical knowledge. I put in my mnemonics. So I expect that as it is that we release those videos, you then come to class with me, Ashley, and Anya, and we'll then go through questions, right? A lot of case-based questions, some facts, and I basically wire your brains into answering these questions on the exam very quickly. Ashley and Anya will tell you that for the digestive exam, there was a whole lot of cases last year. And students who tend to just study, okay, what is the innovation or the blood supply to the middle esophagus, and they go in there, yeah man, bronchial arches, esophageal arch of the descending aorta or whatever. That's not coming on the exam. Like, you need to know it. But the questions that will truly give you problems will be those case-based questions, which is why it is that I'm really promoting active recall after it is that we've covered the content, which are in the videos. I have no issue teaching during those same sessions, but then we need to cover those questions. The same will apply to endo, right? A lot of case-based questions. You guys are maturing as medical students. It's no longer about recalling facts. You don't need to know some more about statistics. What's more likely in this case, okay, she's a 25-year-old female as opposed to a 70-year-old female. What can I expect? What are how would this patient particularly present? That's how it is that they're going to start wiring your brains. And as a clinical student, of course, now for quite a while now in fourth year, I am fond. I know the content that you guys are being exposed to this semester in great detail. I've restudied it last year, currently even restudying it. So I can definitely help you guys in that regard and basically show you what's the most important part of each course. So that when you go in the exam, you're like, yo, you just hear my voice, you hear Ashley's voice, you hear Anya's voice, and you're like, yo, this exam, breeze. I could do this anytime, right? So Ashley, Anya.
Yeah, what can I say after that? No, okay. Everything what Xavier said, guys, please make note of that. Like, it's some real things here. What I can say is that definitely you see the videos that we're going to post on our website. Please make sure that you understand them, right? Because what we're trying to do in Hypo is that, all right, we know that anybody can SWOT questions and answers and go back in the exam and probably get a very good mark, right? Or a fair mark, but they really don't know what they're doing. They're just, swatting and say, all right, that is that. But if you're supposed to go and ask them right now what you just learned, they can't tell you, right? So this is what we're trying to do at Hypo. We're trying to get you guys to understand the content because, you guys are going to be real life doctors very soon. You're going to have patients in front of you, right? So, really and truly, it is going to be a very comfortable experience for you guys because even as Armani said, Hypo is only one call away. What? Hypo is here to save the day, exactly. So, what I can tell you is that the videos, pay attention to them. They're very detailed, and to the point, but the point is detailed enough. Like, it's a lot of information that you guys are going to need for the exam, and it's something that you guys are going to understand quickly because of the active recalling that we're going to go through with you guys during the tutoring sessions. And yeah, so make sure you guys come out to the sessions. That's all I can tell you because we're going to have you guys prepared. So once you guys are prepared and we're prepared, that together, you guys are going to do well on the exam.
I completely agree. Ashley, do you have anything you want to add in the context of endocrine?
Yeah, well, before I touch endocrine, just exams in general, what Anya and Xavier, what they were saying, it's true because even though during our tutorial sessions we'll be going over questions, we don't want you guys to come, okay, I need to remember what question 1 is and question 2 is in case it comes back. You guys don't want to necessarily swap questions. You guys want to be able to understand the content. So it doesn't really matter how it throws it at you. You guys will be able to answer it no matter how, they tweak it or whatever. Also, an advisory was sent out, and it's possible that you guys might have your first exam face-to-face. So we want to be here for you guys to, prepare you guys mentally so that you're not flustered by the Big Tens or the ACR. We don't know exactly how it's going to be. So definitely come out to our tutorials. For endocrine, I shared with you guys the approach that I took for it, and Xavier as well, and Anya. and it worked well. So Hypr will be bringing that to you guys as well, where we'll be structuring it at we'll be looking at the glands, and we'll be covering the physiology, the pathology. We'll just be doing all things glands, right? And we'll be touching the form, because we can't forget form. I remember even the Ask Me Annie, remember? We were so surprised because a lot of the questions were about, things from farm. So I definitely will be trying to help you guys with it. How I approach the farm is I make sure that personally I have to write out the drugs. So everything that they tell us in the class, I have my table with my mechanism of action, the use, the adverse effects, and stuff like that. So we're definitely here for you guys.
We are, because guys, remember that we were just students just like you last year. So we know, I mean, Devon, although Devon in year 5, but him still remember like something. So we were just students like you guys. Xavier was just in year 2 not too long ago. Me and Ash were just there last year. So we have an idea of what the expectations are. So it's not you guys alone. We went through the experience. So we're just here to basically make sure you guys get a better experience than us and from what we learned. So you guys are in good hands. Don't worry.
Oh, most definitely. I could not agree more, Anya. So while we're at it, guys, I'm gonna leave us all on the screen. As we wrap up, there are just 2 questions that were asked in the group. I keep saying group, but really and truly, the I'm referring to the YouTube chat. And one question is from Christian Foster, and Christian Foster asked this question. Christian said, "I genuinely want to know if you can get an A in digestive. I keep hearing about how hard it is, but I want a realistic overview of it." And so I'm gonna direct that question to Xavier. And I gonna direct that question to Xavier. Is an A possible in
Well,
digestive?
most definitely, it's really not as difficult as people make it out to be. As I said before, the key thing is to structure your study, right? And I mean, I was able to get digestive at the first shot. I was able to help the persons after me to get digestive. Like, trust me, the students last year were sharp and they got the A's, trust me. So the key is you have to be able, as we've been giving you this advice, to structure yourself. Because if you don't structure yourself, what's going to happen is that your knowledge is going to be lopsided. So you're going to end up knowing a whole lot of anatomy, physiology. You never get to finish the path. And then, you just throw away the micro B. But I'm going to tell you that your digestive exam is a complete exam. It doesn't tend to test more or significantly more on one thing than the next. To me, it's a very fair exam. And it's really for you to structure your study in a way that you can cover everything. And by everything, I mean at least the key points of everything. Put it all together, and trust me, you can even get the A. You can get 100% on the exam, really, if you want to, right? But yeah, man, you can get an A in digestive. It's not difficult.
Thank you so much for that very honest answer. Anya, do you have anything else to add, or you want to just leave it at what Xavier has said?
No, what Xavier said, it's really true. It is very possible to get an A in digestive. You really just have to pace yourself. Time management definitely is key, because digestive it's a whole lot of content. It is a lot of content. So I understand where persons might start get flustered and be like, oh no, this is too much. I'm probably not going to get the A, because as Xavier might say, let me just dash with micro B a little bit and focus more on like physio and path, more of the important components. Trust me, no other component is important than the other. I can tell you that every one of them is as equally important. So I would have said pace yourself, time management, and make sure do not dash with any micro B. Do not say you're not going to do much of farm. Listen to me. Equal attention for all of the components for digested. I'm telling you guys, because it's going to be a fair exam. You guys are going to be very surprised with it. So just make sure your time management and equal attention is key. Trust me. But you guys, an A is possible. I never thought my A was going to be well. Anyways.
Thanks to me. Thanks to me. I give them all
I
A's.
don't want to sound biased, but I will definitely say Hypr helped me attaining that A. I must say Xavier really helped me a lot, so I'm
You
very
can say
happy to be
Xavier.
working with him. Xavier, stop blush. Stop it. But yes, Hypr definitely helped me. So I will say that the A, you guys definitely have a good shot at it.
Right. And I think the takeaway from these contributions, especially for Christian who asked the question, is that first of all, an A in every and any course is possible. We all have equal potential to excel. None of us have any greater tendency or likelihood of excelling than the other, because we all got here based on the very same standard amidst hundreds upon hundreds of applications. But particularly given the fact that digestive, for example, is one of the challenging courses, as Ashley said, and again, I mean, I know it's easy to say that obviously we're biased. Nobody would ever say that, oh, but Hypr never helped them. But the truth of the matter is that Anya and Ashley were diligent students of Hypr academics throughout their second year journey. And it was in the process of them being part of these classes and seeing how they had improved and how they were getting the concepts and becoming bosses at these topics as they went through the Hypr academics classes, that we said that we can't go on without bringing up Ashley and Anya onto the team. And that, as you heard from the horse's mouth, they attribute their success in digestive to the help that they got from the team led by Xavier Brown. Okay, so the next question, which I think is the penultimate question, was from Ari Sparker. She says, what I'm realizing is sometimes I am reading, but it's like the notes are not registering in my mind. It's like my just reading. Oh, I think she wanted to say it's like I am just reading a sequence of words. What do you recommend? Anybody want to take on that one?
I think that depends on what kind of learner you are. If you're a visual learner, it looks like the notes. I understand the notes make you bored sometimes, like the one bag of words, right? So, well, I had a problem with that. I can recommend something for you, but you'd have to see it for yourself if you would like to do that. What I did was that I went to YouTube. I did a lot of Ninja Nerd for digestive mostly. Start with a video. I did a lot of videos because what I realized with videos is that when you watch something, you can recall of what it looked like because you watched it on a video, and it's better than just seeing just one whole heap of notes and it's just whole heap of words. I think videos are more structured. I think tables are more structured. I'm not sure if you use highlights for your notes. I'm not sure if you use sticky notes, highlights, those type of stuff, color coordination with specific words. I think you're supposed to, in my opinion, make studying fun for you. So I had a problem with the same notes thing. Auditory learners. Like, you have different learners. I personally cannot sit down and just look at one whole heap of notes and not learn anything. It has happened to me before, but I realized, no, this is not something that I can remember or understand. I need to find something else that would literally help me to sit down, understand, recall it, and everything put together in one. And I found out with that, videos helped me. Tables, charts helped me. Using different color highlights helped me because I figured that way it made studying fun for me. So that's what I recommend. Definitely videos.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much for that,
and
Anya.
Sparkle, don't be afraid to go back to the basics, right? Yes, sometimes you're reading the notes, you don't get it. Don't be afraid. Even someone like me, I sometimes go all the way back to my first year notes. I'm not getting something, I don't understand why this patient is having this diabetic emergency. I don't remember I don't remember glycolysis. I don't remember Krebs cycle. I need to go back to the basics sometimes. If it is that you're not understanding directly what's in front of you, sometimes you need to take a step down, right? Understand that and then step back up. That may come in the form, as Anya has suggested, videos. So you may need to go on YouTube and go and watch a video first. As I said, we have Hypr videos that breaks it down very clearly. I tend to be very detailed because I know how I learn. I need to understand the detail of everything before I can understand the whole picture. And again, you have your YouTube resources to supplement you. Once you've gotten that, it's always going to be a stepping stone up. And that's what medical school is like. You never stop learning. All you do is take one step up. And if you can't manage that step, you step down, you ensure you understand it, and you step back up. So don't, if it is that you have to look into the basic details of something to get it, don't be afraid to do that. Because it makes you a more brilliant person. And actually, it's that being able to understand my own limitations, being able to go back to the basics that has made me a better medical student. People will say, "Oh, you remember so much, whatever." It's because I'm always trying to review the basics so that I can apply it now to advance clinical knowledge. Ashley, you were saying something?
Yes, I just wanted to add that don't be afraid to ask questions, right? Anya can tell you, Xavier will tell you, at midnight, I'd be sending a message like, guys, I don't understand the difference between this and, the different heart blocks, So don't be afraid to ask your questions. There's no such thing as a wrong or a stupid question. So ask your questions and talk about it. Tell them what is it that you understand. Tell them what it is that you're not understanding, So active discussions in your study groups and with your friends, that will definitely help you to understand the material better.
Yes, and adding to what Ashley said about what you understand and from what you don't understand, with the question about the notes again, you see when you go back to those same notes, just look and say, all right, which part of it do I actually do understand and which part I do not understand? You see the part that you don't understand, don't be afraid to go back to basic things as what Xavier said to try and understand that part, all right? Because you're going to get flustered if you just look on it and say, no, I actually don't understand anything. When you actually do understand like a few stuff, but there's just that one particular one that you really don't get a good grasp on. And don't be afraid to ask any of us any questions about it either.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, guys, for these comprehensive answers. There's a last question that we're gonna take. We're running over time, but I still see that most people are here, and I think it's because they see how useful the discussion is and where it's getting to. So if they minded us going over time, then they would have just left already. So we thank you guys for staying, because as you can see, we are all passionate. We want to see you succeed. We want to see you progress, and that's why we're here. And we're not too fussy about leaving right now. But we're gonna take the last question and then wrap up. The last question is from Isaac Dunkley, and I think I might venture to answer that question. She's saying that you all are saying to make links, but it is not like we have the lectures in a way that we can do that right off the bat. So how will we go about doing that? So the thing about it, guys, and particularly to you, Isaac, and anybody else who might be concerned about that, you may not have, for example, you might have physiology of the small intestine, and you may not have received a lecture on pathology of small intestines as yet. But the thing about it is that even if you have not received the lecture as yet, I mean, the things do exist. So what to do is that when you're studying, just okay, you're studying physiology of the digestive system, just go into Google pathology of whatever part of the digestive system, and look at treatment, look at all this kind of stuff, and seek out these things. So when now you get the lecture, now you're at a better place. So don't ever restrict your knowledge pool only to the lectures that you get, because there's always so much and no more that can be done in the 50 minutes that you get for most of your lectures. But in addition to that, and that is one of the things that make Hypr this semester bolstered to help you get to where you want to be, we have our videos on the physiology of the different parts. We have our videos on the pathology of the different parts. In some cases, where relevant, we even have embryology of the different things. We even have pharmacology where appropriate. It therefore means that there's literally very few places you have to go and look towards to actually to find this information, because we have all of that on there for you already. And so you can always make use of your Hypr videos, your Hypr review sessions, your Hypr papers, and at the appointed time, the crash courses, to ensure that you have achieved that formula that we have proven time and time again actually works, where you look at the systems according to physiology, you link it to the pathology, and well, no. You start with embryology. You do the embryology, then you link the embryology to the physiology, because I can tell you, and Xavier is the man when it comes to embryology. Xavier will tell you that if you understand the embryology, boy, every physiology is going to be a breeze, because everything is just naturally connected, because our creator designed it that way. So you start with embryology, you go to physiology. Everything that works well can end up working bad or end up not working. So everything that has a physiology must have some sort of pathology, whether it is a rare occurrence or it is a common occurrence. There's always a pathology. And if there's always a pathology, there's always something in medicine to treat that pathology, which is where pharmacology comes in, right? And so when you're unable to, I can tell you, if you're able to make those links from second year, why, when you get to third year, when you get to fourth year, when you get to fifth year, we wouldn't even be able to tell which one is the consultant. We just have a room of consultants just walking into the water rounds. But and that's why I say, if I had achieved that at your level, man, my life would be much easier. And that is the whole point that we are here. We have been in your shoes, and we understand the nitty-gritties, and we want to ensure that you don't make the same mistakes that we make, that you can come out even better than us, that you can be on the dean's list from start to finish, right? That you can be, you can pick and choose and refuse scholarships because your grades them just turn up, and everybody just wants to give you scholarship. That is what we want to achieve here at Hypr Academics, and we believe that all that we have between our Hypr videos, our Hypr reviews, our Hypr papers, our crash courses, our excellent cadre of tutors, and the willingness and the dedication and the commitment to ensuring that you persevere and you succeed, all of that come together makes the Hypr formula. And that's what we believe, that you can take the Hypr formula to your exam and get that good grade, and at the end of the day you can be proud that your time and your money was spent well, and there will be absolutely no regret. So guys, I want to take the opportunity to thank my team for being here and for making such excellent contributions and responses to the questions. But obviously, guys, if you as students were not there, then we would just be chatting with ourselves, and then next thing you hear, we're on Ward 21 because they say we have some psychological disorder. We couldn't do this with just ourselves, right? And so we thank you for coming out. The video will be there. Tell your friends of what an excellent time it was. But you also have the group chats. If you are not in the group chats, we'll send a link for you to join, and you can ask your questions in the group chat. There's nobody on your screen right now that's going to be, but how Armani just stressing me out with so much questions in the, no. Obviously, we are students as well. Sometimes it might, take a little second for it to get an answer based on, where we are in our clinicals and that kind of stuff. But they will be answered, period, because that's what we are here for. So with that in mind, guys, thank you again. And we just hope that you have a good evening. You'll have a good week. We will send out the links over the week in terms of subscribing to our calendar. You will know what is going on, and you will have all that you need to benefit from the hard labor, the toil that we have put into all of this as Hypr Academics. So thank you very much for coming out, and have yourself a wonderful evening and an even better week.